Sahana vavatu Sahana bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant, and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sairam to all of you. We welcome all of you for the satsang of the Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia, and we are continuing the study circle on Gita Vahini. On the online version, we have on page 19, chapter 4, page 19, and in the hard copy, it is page 30. So we'll start with where it says, Thithiksha means equanimity in the face of opposites. So last 2 weeks, we are discussing about that particular shloka in chapter 2, 14, which is about Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Sitoshna Samadukkada Agama Payino Anitya Tam Titichasva Bharata. This is a very practical shloka. That means all of us, because of our contact of the senses with the sense objects, Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya, because of that you get Sitoshna, because when you are contact with so just whenever the senses come in contact with the sense objects, so we get all, it's obvious, right? You'll get heat and cold. When you only touch, then only you'll feel. And Sukha and Dukkha, that means pleasure and pain. So he's telling, first making a statement. So how do you get in life the experiences, whatever experience, heat, cold, pleasure, pain, and all this, because of, like you enjoy the music with the good music or sights, is because of the senses coming in contact with sense objects. That is this statement is making. But then he says, what is the nature of these pleasures? What is the nature of these experiences? Agama apayano. They come and they go. That means they're like passing clouds. Sometimes you feel the pain, sometimes not. All the time you won't have the same experience. Agama apayano. They come and go. So we should remember that. Why that is, sometimes in life experiences will be so painful. My God, when is it going to end? This is it. Even sometimes people get back pain. This is my life is ending. This is it. It will all get better. So anything, even whatever crisis in the family, at work, and sometimes when you are in that, you feel it is the end of it. But it's not. That time you should remember, this too shall pass. That is why Swami talked about the Pandavas. So when they were in exile, they were put to so much torture by these evil Kauravas. They tried to kill them, poison them, put the fire and all that. Then when they were going, so they were given, whenever you are in major trouble, look at this mantra. So he thought it's a famous, some good mantra, like 5-letter mantra, Narayanaya, Om Namah Ashtachara Namo Namah Shivaya, like that. But when you're in crisis, looked, Swami said in Telugu, Idi eppudu undadu. These two shall pass. So when you do that, then you won't get that reaction, depression, dejection. Okay, these two shall, and same thing you should remember about the so-called pleasure moments. Something when, not that you enjoy the pleasure, but remember, hey, this won't last forever either. Because as Swami says, pleasure is interval between two pains. So either experience, nature is agama apayino. It will be there, comes and goes. So what should we do? That is why next one, that is the whole discussion. Tam Thithiksha Bharata. That is why you should practice equanimity. That is why very important. This is fortitude or equanimity. And that is what the whole Gita is. Lord Krishna was teaching Arjuna, act well your part, but just don't worry about the consequences. We always worry about whatever we do, but you need to put your best efforts. We already talked about 3 aspects of how you should do the work. Anybody wants to say how you should do any work? 3 things. Huh?
Single point.
Very good. One is whatever we do, like we are doing, I'm talking to you, so what all exists is studies that nothing else should come in my mind, neither who are listening and neither who are taking, that's all one-pointedness. Whatever you do, one-pointedness is very important. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekehe kurunandana. Good. Second is whatever you do, yoga is perfection in action. That means attention to detail. You need to do that. Very important. Attention to detail. This is important. So we are all do work. So one is one-pointed work, whether you are working the Jupiter or whether working the doctors with the patients or the accounting, whatever you be at that time, you should be absorbed in that one-pointedness. And second is you should have that perfection in action. And third one, the Bhagavad Gita, but no samatvam yoga yuchate. Just whenever you, that is what you're talking, equal-mindedness. You should not, so whenever we are doing some project, the results come out good, you say, oh my God, I am the one who did this, I got the credit, you take the credit. Or sometimes the project doesn't work out, then you get dejected, my God, I've spent so much time, energy, for all this time, didn't work out. So these things happen because there is the nature of things. Always some things work out in life and some things don't work out in life. There is a part of life. So that's why samatvam yoga vichate, always be equal-minded. That is the whole secret. As I said before in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna from the chapter 2, where he talked about Sthita Prajna, man of steadfast wisdom, enlightened man, Shloka 54 to 72, again read, that is the word he talks about equal-mindedness. Again, in chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga, people think how to be a devotee. He gave the clear definition from Shloka 12 to 20th, a man. There also emphasis, first thing is samatvam, you have to have Sarvatra Samabuddhaya. Always you should have that equal-mindedness. And also then again in chapter 13, where he talks about the qualities of a jnani. Who is a jnani? He doesn't say something which is having a light behind him, nothing. So he clearly says, amanitvam, adhambitvam, ahimsa, kshanti, rajyaram. He is always equal-minded. So he is always takes pleasure and pain, honor and dishonor, profit and loss, heat and cold with the same joyful acceptance. And again in the chapter 14, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yogam, where he talks about how man, we are all caught up in the 3 gunas, right? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Some are very sattvic, tranquil, serene people. Some are rajasic, hyperactive, too active, so jump from one place to another. There is in the name of, what is it? Multitasking. Your mind is jumping all over. So it's sometimes we have to do, but too much tasking, your mind gets agitated. So that is too much rajasic. And then the tamasic is the worst. Inertia, lethargy, and laziness. That is the dullest moment. That is why it is shown the color of black, and rajasic red, and sattvic is the tranquil white. So you need to think, these are all good, but the ultimate thing is going beyond the 3 gunas. That is what Gunatraya. They are also same qualities. That is where Lord Krishna said in the chapter 2, Traigunya Vishaya Veda. All the Vedas we talk about, they're good. but they're all in the realm of three gunas. Nistraigunyo bhava Arjuna. He says, Arjuna, you should go beyond the three. That's why some people say Vedas. Yes, Vedas are great scriptures. Swami says, you do that, you chant, you do the yagas, but that is not the end all and be all. You should go beyond the three gunas. That is where the Upanishads help. Vedanta teaches how these four things, Aham Brahmasmi, Ayam Atma Brahma, Prajnanam Brahma, so Tattvamasi, those Mahavakyas where you know the ultimate truth. So for that, you need to practice this. This is where we talked about. Now we'll continue with Thithiksha. On page 30, we start Thithiksha. That means you have page 19. Thithiksha means equanimity.
Thithiksha means equanimity in the face of opposites, putting up boldly with duality. It is the privilege of the strong, the treasure of the brave. The weak will be as agitated as peacock feathers. They are ever restless, with no fixity, even for a moment. They sway like the pendulum, this side and that, once towards joy, the next moment towards grief. Here, some pause has to be made on one point. Fortitude is different from patience. Thithiksha, equanimity, is not the same as sahana. Sahana is putting up with something, tolerating it, bearing it, because you have no other go. Having the capacity to overcome it, but yet disregarding it. That is the spiritual discipline. Patiently putting up with the external world of duality, combined with inner equanimity and peace. That is the path to liberation. Bearing all with analytic discrimination. That is the type of sahana that will yield good result.
Yeah.
Stop just now. It's a very important point. Often we get confused with several adjectives and words. We think it's same or not, but the subtle difference what Swami talks about here, well, Thithiksha equanimity is not the same as sahana, because something you put up with it, you don't have a choice. But then it is something that equanimity is something you're not affected by it. It's still you're equal-minded. The pairs of opposites are not having any impact on us. But with the same vigor, you'll do the work, but not affected by it. So that is a very subtle difference that Swami is bringing out here. And it's now I will open for the discussion.
Yeah, here important, remember, patience itself is a great virtue, just to be patient. So that is what Lord Shirdi Sai Baba said, Shraddha, Saburi. Saburi, there is patience like Sahana. Actually, I remember this, you should read Mother Teresa of Avila, not Mother Teresa of Calcutta. Sister Tevila, she's a Spanish Carmelite sister. In the Santa Teresa Hospital where we go, that is started on her name. There in the front, I always remember that quote, patience attains all that it strives for. And beautifully, first sentence, he who has God finds he lacks nothing. Let nothing disturb thee, nothing discourage thee. All things pass. God alone suffices. Like that, patience is a great virtue. And even Saint Paul, in his letter to Corinthians, people say, well, you should love all, love all. What is love? So first word he says, love is patient, love is kind, love is not jealous, love is not pompous. And so like that he goes on, patience is given. But patience is that able to put up with things instead of getting depressed, dejected, taking drugs, alcohol, or going to a psychiatrist. Hey, this is the way that just you accept it. What can I do? You have to go through that. Lord, this is your will, you do that. That is patience. But the higher than that is equanimity, where you don't even see, like even Swami was telling, the people said religious tolerance. Yeah, so let Islam exist, let Christianity, Judaism, we'll tolerate all religions. Most of the people like that. But Sri Ramakrishna and Swami is harmony of religions. So you don't think they're separate. There is only one religion, religion of love. So you don't try to even say that we are tolerating them. We say we accept them. We take the good from all. That is the thing. This is the higher thing. First is accept patiently. Okay, we take. But equanimity is joyfully accepting. That means you don't grumble. Okay, it is my lot. What can I do? I'll put up with that. Instead of that, joyfully look, mother or father, divine father, you gave me this. I accept. I'm very happy because you know what is best for me. That kind of attitude you'll get when do the equanimity. They don't get disturbed with the highs and lows. I gave you the example of sage Shuka. Does anybody remember? Sage Shuka, he's the son of sage Vyasa. He was a Brahmajnani by birth. He was always Digambara because he has no body conscious, never wore clothes, and used to go along wherever it is and give the preach. He is the one who gave the Bhagavata to the King Parikshit. So to have him knowledge, he asked his father, because his father, Vyasa, is the one who wrote 4 Vedas and 18 Puranas. So, Father, teach me, because he's a great guru. That is why Guru Purnima is also called Vyasa Purnima, because in the name, honor of sage Vyasa. He says, no, because when the father teaches, even though Guru, you people won't, no, you go to King Janaka. I was thinking, king, he's a king, so what can he teach? But King Janaka, even though he's a king, he is said to be a greatest jnani, because he practiced this, even though he has head in the forest, hands in the society. He ruled it with complete detachment. That is why the king, Janaka Swami, always talks about you should have the head of Shankara, heart of Buddha, hands of Janaka. It means you are action when you are be like Janaka. You are in the intense activity where you are completely detached. So he says, go to Janaka, you will learn. He then goes to King Janaka's place, and then they make him wait. He says, oh, this great sage Shuka has come, son of sage Vyasa. And they said, sir, we'll go and tell the king. King Janaka, they tell, and he says, wait. Tell him to wait. He waits 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. It goes on 7 days. He waits, completely ignored. He says, okay. Then after the 7th day, he says, okay, tell him come. And then he gives him a red carpet treatment. He put the nice thing, and everybody is putting perfume, water on him, putting flowers, garlands, and then king himself takes him in, gives him a huge feast and honors him. So then he says, why did you come? So I want to have the knowledge of the self from you, because my father told to come to you. He says, you don't need anything because you are already realized. Because when I insulted you, humiliated you for 7 days, it didn't bother you. Now I am treating you like a king. You didn't get excited. You are the same that time, this time. Once you reach that stage, that is the thing. Spirituality, nothing bothers you. You are in equal-minded state. So that says, so this stage of, because there he didn't have to, it didn't cry, oh my God, he's ignoring and putting up with that. He's not tolerating. He says, yeah, this is okay. Both are accepted with the same equanimity and same joy. So that is the thing. This is constant practice to make sure that everything is a gift of God. That is the attitude we have, then you can accept it. Otherwise, the life is all, everybody, the roller coaster up and down happens because we react to the situation. Anything else? Anybody has any comments or question? If not, we'll continue.
Sairam. No, for equanimity, we always talk about Lord Rama, how he was to be coronated, and then the same day he was asked by his father, Dasharatha, that you have to go to as an exile to the forest not for days or months, but 14 years. So, and then everybody says that Swami, he kept, Lord Sri Rama, he had the same, smiling face and happy face when he heard that he's going to be coronated. And same time, when he was told that you had to leave, so he has no difference in his reaction. So that's the greatest example for equanimity. So Swami always talks about it. And also we always question why 14 years, like Pandavas, when they lost in the in the game of dice, they had to go to 12 years because that was the requirement. But here, somebody said that Mandara is so smart that everybody loves Rama because that's the reason why Dasratha wanted him to become the king. And so she and Bharata and the brothers like it. So if he goes for a few years, still people remember him, and then they'll go fight and bring him back. So for 14 years, it seems a human memory always, even when the friends relationships. So if you short time last, it's okay, but when you go away for a long time, everybody forgets. So that's the reason why she said 14 years. So that normally it seems 7 years for anybody to be, not to be remembered. But she wanted to be even more safe. She said double 7. So that's why she selected 14 years. So that was another side story Swami talks about Sri Rama.
Okay, anybody else? Yeah, it is working. Yeah.
Okay, now it's on. Sairam, I have a question. It's, I don't know, I'll just put some dots, you can make the connections. I were talking about patience. You should always be patient. But thinking in the bigger picture, we have to have the spirit of patience. But we see, there is, I don't know, there are a lot of subtlety, patience, tolerance, and so on. So if everybody is patient, there's no progress made in the real world.
No.
So you have to be impatient with some judgment so that things can improve. I'm just coming to the real world effect. So if everybody tolerates everything, then there is no progress for the betterment of humanity in many different areas.
Okay, like that. That's
being patient across the board is not. There has to be something. It has to be qualified and injected with something. So patience here is this, patience here is this. It's not the same patience
That's
across the board.
each one, good point. So each one has to do in their own actions. It doesn't mean inaction. Patience means intense activity with patience for the results. You don't get impatient what the results are. You need to be intensely active and patiently wait for the outcome. You have some kind of Saira. Put it out, switch on. Yeah.
Sairam. So I think that's why here it said analytical discrimination.
Yeah.
For every action, it's not just the face value. So where you need to be patient, you be patient.
Right.
Where you need to act.
That is why the example is the same, Kurukshetra war. So he told them to be patient. Pandavas were patient for so many years. Then enough patience is patience. Then he says, now we act, now go into the war. So right time, right action. So just in the beginning itself, they were impatient and just jump into war. Then the reason they were considered as righteous people is they put up with everything and they said, enough is enough. And then they are the behest of Lord Krishna, they went into the war. So when to act, that is the whole secret. So that is the good point. That's what you wanted to make, right?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Any other comments? If not, you can continue, Krishna.
Viveka is the word used for such discrimination. It means the capacity to recognize what is called the agamapayana, nature of the objective world. That is to say, the world of objects that come and go and are not eternal. Generally, man seeks only happiness and joy. Under no stress will he desire misery and grief. He treats happiness and joy as his closest well wishers, and misery and grief as his direct enemies. This is a great mistake. When one is happy, the risk of grief is great. Fear of losing the happiness will haunt the man. Misery prompts enquiry, discrimination, self examination, and fear of worse things that might happen. It awakens you from sloth and conceit. Happiness makes you forget one's obligations to oneself as a human being. It drags man into egoism and the sins that egoism leads one to commit. Grief renders man alert and watchful. Yes, the thing is that I just remember about Swami telling about Mother Kunti asking for troubles of, pain, and because then Sri Krishna was asking, why are you asking pain? Because you have been in pain for, almost your life, and you're asking for it again. But then she says, whenever in pain, I was always thinking about you. So it's a very important thing to remember, whether it's pain or pleasure, the most important thing is to keep the mind with the Lord. Then if we can keep the mind with the Lord, then nothing bothers, whether it's happiness or pain. That's one way to move forward.
Yeah, there is the whole secret. The whole thing is to be always connected to God or your inner self, your conscience, your Atma. So anything you always self-audit. Is this thing, whatever I am doing, thinking or saying, is it keeping me in touch with my innate divinity? Then that is the right thing to do. That is why Mother Kunti, the amount of trouble she went through, what you wanted, I want trouble, because for her, the more important thing is to be connected with the divine consciousness, being connected with God, thinking about it. So most of the people only in trouble, they pray to God when there are challenges. But the ideal thing is all the time we should be thinking, but we are humans, so most of the people, they pray only when they have trouble and challenges. So that is why she prayed. And here, I don't know how much you noticed, Swami was so profound statement he made. Here, that is the path to liberation. We want to have liberation. He said, patiently putting up with the external world of duality, combined with equanimity and peace, that is the path to liberation. That means really you practice that, we are liberated. So just you don't need to think doing big tapas and this and that. Just acting in the world and facing the dualities and maintaining that equipoise. So then that is the path to liberation. And that is why you should think happiness, because most of the people forget in those so-called pleasures. Here we should not confuse happiness with pleasures. He's talking about pleasures. Happiness is our goal of life. Happiness is union with God. So we want to be happy always because there is union. But so-called pleasures take away our mind from the focus on God. That is why we should pray, Lord, always keep me connected. Like Kunti, we don't need to say, give me trouble, then that's too much. But we can say, so give situations so that I don't forget you. Always be connected to. That is more important than other things. Okay, you can continue.
There is a great saint, Avayar, in Tamil. And she's called Avai Pati. Pati means grandma. So the Lord asks her, what boon you want? You ask anything, I'll give you. The beautiful thing in Tamil, she says is, Paravamai vendum, I don't want to take birth, of course. But anything you ask from the Lord, you don't know what is right or wrong. So she wants to cover the if and else. So Paravamai vendum, I don't want to take birth. But in your thing that I have to take birth, பிறந்தாலும் உன்னை மறவாமை வேண்டும். When I take birth, The most important thing is I should not forget you at all. So I should be connected with you all the time. Whether so she's not talking about pain, pleasure, all that stuff. I don't want birth. If I take birth, then I should not forget about you. So she basically both if and else she covered it. So
No, that is the greatest quality of devotees. Kulshekar Alvar, I was talking about the great king, poet, and philosopher from Kerala. He's the one who wrote the Mukundamala. So he says that Naham Vande Tavacharana Yodvandvam Kumbhi Pakam Gurumapi Haram Narakam Napanetum. You keep me in the hell, I don't care. And you keep me in the heaven, I don't care. But every time I want to be at your divine Lord's feet. I want to be with you. That is more important. Where I stay is not important, whether hell, heaven, but so just make sure like this Avaya, these are all greatest devotees, examples for us. Most important is being connected to God. So that is why we all get involved in anything which makes us forget God. That activity where people invite us for party or people, if you during that time 2 hours 3 hours you forget about God, that means you wasted your life. Time waste, time is God, time waste is life waste. During the time, did I really think about God? Whereas you go to bhajans, you go to temple, you go to satsang, during the time you are thinking good thoughts, divine thoughts. That means the time is well spent. Anything where which takes you away from the thoughts of God, in the name of social obligation, sometimes we do, but still it can minimize. Otherwise, you are taking away from God. And time, anything you can get in life, right? But can you get time? Nobody can get time. That is what God was very impartial. He gave money different. Some people billionaires, some paupers. Some people here make them very strong, like Hercules or thing, and some are not that physically strong. Some are highly intellectual, scholarly, some ordinary. But as far as time is concerned, whether you're a king or a pauper, or a rich or poor, whether you're a scholar or ignoramus, same amount of time, because time is God. And the time, once you're gone, that's it. Money you can lose and you can gain back again by hard work. And anything physical strength you can develop. But time, nobody can. That is why Kala and Namaha says God is time. So we should be very careful every moment, whether undertaking. People spend hours together on the phone or in the internet. Everything, is it really helping me to do God's work? Be able to think about God, that is worth it. Otherwise, it is complete waste. Whether we take a phone call, whether we do internet or WhatsApp, whether any work situation. So you need to keep that, whether it's keeping us connected to God, because that is ultimately the permanent happiness we'll get. So that is very important. Is there anybody has any comments or questions? If not, you can go to the next 2 paragraphs.
So, misery is a real friend. Happiness spends out the stock of merit and arouses the baser passions. So, it is really an enemy. Really, misery is an eye opener. It promotes thought and the task of self improvement. It also endows one with new and valuable experiences. Happiness draws a veil over experiences that harden a person and make him tough. So, troubles and travails are to be treated as friends, at least not as enemies. Only it is best to regard both happiness and misery as gifts of God. That is the easiest path for one's own liberation. Not to know this is a basic ignorance. A person so ignorant is blind. Really, happiness and misery are like the blind man, who must be accompanied ever by one who sees. When the blind man is welcomed, you have inevitably to welcome the man with eyes, for he is the constant comrade of the blind man. So too, happiness and misery are inseparable. You cannot choose only one. Moreover, Misery highlights the value of happiness. You feel happy by contrast with misery. Thus said Krishna to Arjuna to teach him the insignificance of all duality. So again and again, when we look at or read what Swami is even giving the meaning of Gita, these pairs of opposites, this is what really like a circle, it just binds us. And it's so simple. If we can go out of that thing, then we are released. Otherwise, we are going back to the same circle and without knowing when you are going to end these opposites. But I don't know, that the point is that how do we realize this? And that lot of paths has been given.
Yeah.
Only thing is to practice back again.
Yeah, right. Because
that's the only thing.
You can. That's why anybody says, "Oh, it is difficult." No, it is possible. Swami said that. Lord Krishna said that, and there are many great masters who have done that. Even in the present day world, there are so many great saints, sages, spiritual seekers who have attained it. It's not, if something is impossible, God won't tell. It is possible, and it can be done. That is, we should reveal. The whole thing is, the purpose is to realize there is only oneness. There is a whole, goes on telling Lord Krishna, dual mind is half blind. That means you are dual. See anything you are going on, seeing duality, that means you are blind. Half blind. You can be able to see one side, but not. But really, you want to really have complete vision. Advaita darshanam jnanam. The real wisdom is to have that experience of non-duality. Till we attain that stage, we need to continue our spiritual practices, whether it is doing bhajans, devotional practices, doing selfless service, or self-inquiry, whatever it is, you need to continue till you reach that stage. That is why Advaita Darshanam Jnanam, there is a definition, seeing only one. Whenever you see two, the source of fear is two. When there is one, there is no fear. Only when there is duality, that causes fear. So to experience the overnight, you say, no, I will see only one, it is not possible. You need to do the preparations. So that is why he said you can't, because we have all these negative things, mala, avarana, vikshepa, all these impurities we have. First, we need to get rid of our desires. Anger, root of that is what Lord Krishna said. The whole root of everything is desire. Everything is desire. All the 6 enemies we talk about, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, desire, anger, greed, attachment, pride, and jealousy. Really, there is only one evil, that is desire. Because only when you have desire, it doesn't get fulfilled, you get upset, you get angry. Oh, I want to do this. Why this person came in that? And your desire gets fulfilled, you get more. Oh, you worked hard, you get money. You get greed, you want to have more, you have to get. And then once you get more, you have got mada. I'm so wealthy, or I'm so scholarly, I'm so powerful. Then you get this pride. And then you get attachment to your wealth, or attachment to your position, attachment to your family, attachment to friends. So that again, the desire is the responsible. Then you get jealous, next one, because somebody who has more than you, somebody is more, always in life there will be people wealthier than you, smarter than you, more spiritual than you, and everything. That time it causes jealousy. But if you don't have desire, then you are always happy. So that root cause is everything is desire. And the solution for desire, these problems is, Swami showed, what is the greatest solution? Love, love, love. Love, once you have, all these enemies will be gone. Swami says that is the greatest power. And there also love, it is only one, but it is 5 human values we say, but it is only one, that is love. Because love in thought is truth, right? Love in action is dharma. And love in feeling is peace. Love in understanding is non-violent. So the root cause is only one, desire, which is manifest in so many ways. And the solution, treatment is only one, love, which is practiced in so many values. So if you go on remembering this fundamental teaching, which shows then our problems will be thing. That's why here Swami said there, they said this is the path to liberation. And that's why you should hear. Here, this is the easiest path for one's own liberation. He said that it's best to regard both misery and happiness as gifts of God. That is why always everything. This is for my good. This is my gift from Swami. Both everything. This is prasada. That is why this is called prasada buddhi in Sankhya Yoga. That means when you take a prasadam, whatever it is, this is a prasadam, we'll be happy. Okay, this prasadam, give it and we enjoy. So everything you should look, that is called prasada buddhi. Everything is prasadam from God. So don't take only one thing. So everything misery, happiness, then we'll be good. Okay, I think we'll conclude here and continue. Okay.